Thank you. President Biden last year likened the new Georgia voting law to, quote, Jim Crow in the 21st century, but turnout so far in the state's midterm elections has smashed midterm records. Today it topped 1 million votes overall. That's about 70% more than 2018, on par with the presidential election turnout. Was President Biden wrong with his assessment of Georgia's voting law, or does he stand by that Jim Crow comparison?
So, as you know, I got to be careful. I cannot get into politics from here, so won't comment specifically on that race or on the elections or the data that's coming out of Georgia. But the president has been very clear that based on the big lie, there have been a host of anti-voter policies forced on states that challenge America's fundamental right to vote, right? The access to voting. And so this is against our most basic values, including respect for the law and the Constitution. And speaking generally, of course, more broadly, high turnout and voter suppression can take place at the same time. They don't have to be, one doesn't have to happen on its own. They could be happening at the same time. But I'll leave it there without being able to really dig into the politics of this.
Is the White House observing instances of voter suppression in Georgia and other states that adopted some of these laws over the last 2 years?
Look, we have seen ourselves, I just laid out, we've seen ourselves from what legislation, state legislations that we have seen across the country that is suppressing the right to vote. Look, we believe that people should have the fundamental access to voting. As you know, very early in this administration, the president signed an executive order on what he can do from the federal level to make voting easier for the American people. He did that on the anniversary of Selma, the march that we know the icon John Lewis helped to lead, and he wanted to make sure that he took action and not just words. So, as you know, the president is very attuned to this. But again, I don't want to get into specifics of what is currently happening in one race. But again, this is something that we have seen throughout this past couple of years, of how voting, the access to voting is being attacked.
But doesn't that record turnout show that Georgia voters are finding ways to vote even amid the restrictions?
Again, I'm not going to get into specifics of what Georgia voters are doing. What I am saying is that, generally speaking, again, more broadly speaking, of course, high turnout and voter suppression can take place at the same time.
Thanks.